and or options you have with it. Okay.
That's for the that's for the research later on.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah, see, this is why you don't do permadeath complete restart, because apparently do you guys have sound?
Sorry. By the way, the other thing that happened, I had muted myself, so I had just unmuted myself because I sneezed. You guys heard me, but I made sure the sneeze didn't go out to the folks watching online, right? Last thing they need is Erik sneezing in their headphones and blasting, probably some brain damage or eardrum damage or something, one of those. We didn't care about the co-hosts. We cared about you, audience. I mean,
yeah, he can. He'll abuse us however he wants.
I think there's lots of abuse going all around with everybody, right? Yeah, we all abuse. It's the way it goes.
But yeah, I mean, I do want to say just real quick on that always online thing. It is just weird when you can't even load into your game because, oh yeah, you need an internet connection, and the internet connection is fine because you're live streaming some TV or watching shit on YouTube at the same time as you're trying to get into this game, and the game's just going, "We're sorry, we can't connect." And I'm like, this is my single player game. Like, I was trying to play some Borderlands yesterday, some Ghost Recon Borderlands last night, and Ubisoft just would not let me in. I switched to Far Cry 3, and Ubisoft says, "Oh yeah, that's fine." I mean, we can't access the Far Cry servers, but I'm pretty sure the Far Cry 3 servers have been offline for about half a decade at this point. But I could still play the game without issue. So, if game devs could just stop trying to do this stupid, you must permanently have some sort of wonky internet connection that only your game can see, that would be really appreciated. Thank you.
I just want to point out that the most successful game of last year was a completely, a game you could play completely offline if you wanted to, which was Elden Ring, by the way. For all those people saying that you can't sell offline single-player games anymore.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, have some a lot of industry professionals, right, have some really dumb hot takes with that regard, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you can't sell a single player game. Like, oh wait, what was it? You can't play you can't sell a single player game these days. It has to be a multiplayer. There has to be some multiplayer element, etc., etc., etc. Right? And then they do like the Star Wars. Was it Force Awakens? Right?
The most recent ones.
No, it was like the previous one before that. Like I know that there's the most recent one, but like there was a previous Star Wars, I think it was. Could have been Fallen Order. It was one of those
Fallen Order is the Souls-like Star Wars game.
Yeah, Fallen Order was the one before the one that they just released this week, and then before that they did the Force Awakens games. Yeah.
Yeah, and that sells like hotcakes as such, and is people really really liked it and everything. And it's oh right, well I thought you couldn't sell a single player game. I thought it had to have a multiplayer content, and that did perfectly fine.
Yeah,
and then obviously as Sothras have said, Elden Ring comes out and that's an absolute hit as well.
Yeah, and the same people are saying, hey, games can't be too hard because that's not inclusive enough. And here we have Elden Ring, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you take a look at games that have come out in the last few years, like BattleTech 2018, single player with some multiplayer. But primarily, it's a single-player game. Absolutely fantastic if you enjoy giant, stompy, rocking robots. Death Stranding. Weird open-world adventure
horror
game
thing,
that has, some really odd stuff. It's got some online connections, but you don't need an online connection to play the game. And it's great, and it's sold like hotcake. You know,
Divinity Original Sin 2, which can be played in co-op over your local network without an internet connection.
yeah. Like, Hard Space Shipbreaker. Not a multiplayer in sight in that game, but it's fantastic. You know, these are great games that sold really well, and yet some game studios with their game directors have this weird idea that no, you should absolutely include always online in every game you put out. And it's
It's
All right,
not
I got
just
my meeting. You guys have fun.
All right, have fun in your meeting.
It's not just the always online shit though. It's always also that they put graphical fidelity over everything else, right? The first thing everyone talks about when a new Ubisoft game or a new EA game gets announced, it's like, how good does it look? And then
But Sot, there's that game that looks actually photorealistic.
yeah,
Clearly, it's going to be amazing, right?
yeah. See, I said this the other day when
that's
we
absolutely not going to burn up any, not cutting edge graphics card at all. No, never.
I said this the other day when we talked about how FromSoft is continuously making good games. They put gameplay first, right? Graphics are secondary to them. They don't have motion capture in their games. You could argue that some of the textures look dated, but no one gives a fuck because it's a good game.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Put gameplay first.
Like, people play Minecraft. They don't play Minecraft because of the stunning visuals. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
well, they do. A lot of people who play Minecraft a lot end up using like mods and shaders and stuff that do make things look.
Yeah, but that's like that's like a
improved
percentage.
visual, but it's one of those things where it's never going to look photorealistic.
But that's the thing. When you don't go for always online, you can have mod support because you don't have to have anti-cheat, right? So you're totally fine with people modding your game.
Yeah,
I mean, look at Skyrim. The only reason Skyrim got so big is because of modders, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. And people modded entire new campaigns into Skyrim. Just like you're talking about mods that people were releasing for free that had another 40 hours worth of gameplay in it.
There is a mod that makes an entirely new game out of Skyrim. It's called Enderroll. You guys need to check it out. It's amazing.
Fair enough.
I'd be interested to check that out, maybe. Yeah.
But yeah, the other thing as well is like I don't need a game to look like real life for me to enjoy it, right? If it's a game that looks like a game, that's fine. I just want to have a good experience playing the game.
I fucking love Mario Kart, man. Like,
Mario Kart rocks.
Look, it depends, right? Have you played LA Noire?
I've played LA Noire, yeah.
So, that wouldn't work if the facial animations weren't as good as they were, right? Because you need to read people through their facial animations.
Yeah, like
so you
as a
fidelity.
detective kind of like sort of novelty kind of whodunit thing. Yeah, like you definitely need to do that. You definitely need that kind of level of fidelity to some degree. But like,
but that's for gameplay reasons.
Yeah, exactly. That's understandable for gameplay reasons. Yeah.
Hey, yeah, I do want to say, I'm not opposed to a game looking good as long as it plays well. But if it plays like dog shit, and its only selling point is that it looks good, I'm gonna refund that game.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just not worth the time and energy investment if I'm not enjoying playing the game.
Yeah, and then on top of that, you have the downgrades, right? The infamous Ubisoft downgrades.
Yep.
Yeah.
where they are showing way better graphics in like the first trailers, and then later on nothing of that gets delivered. They've done it with every game they release in the past like 15 years.
Oh, but it's not just that though. Like, you know, when it comes to sort of like they oddly enough, it's one of those things where even their like, you know, successive titles and stuff like that have actually reduced the kind of like the interesting gameplay options and gameplay elements for players as well. Like, and it's like apparently it's a sequel, and generally people should kind of expect a sequel to be more, but apparently we're getting less and less and less for
Yeah.
more money. You know, for it
It's-
costing more.
It's a sequel, but it has to be released in like 2 years from when the first game was out, or people will forget about the first game and never buy the sequel. And it's like, no, what, really? We've been crying out for another Elder Scrolls game that's not Elder Scrolls Online for how long now? They've been telling us they've been working on it for how long now? And yet, you know, when the next Elder Scrolls game comes out, people are going to be hyped about it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
This idea that, yeah, we have to get a game out every year, every 2 years in this kind of constant sequel life. It's like, no. But just, like, take your time, make your game, release it when it's ready. You know?
Mm-hmm.
I
gotta
actually
be
maintain.
honest here. Like after Fallout 4 and then Fallout 76, I am no longer looking forward to Elder Scrolls 6. And that's coming from someone who named
Interesting.
himself after a character in Elder Scrolls 3, right?
Fair point.
Yeah. That's fair. But yeah,
I think you could see a constant downward spiral in fun in their games, right? And
in the Fallout games for sure.
no, not just the Fallout games. Like I think it already started with Oblivion. It wasn't as bad, but it like Oblivion definitely had its issues, and Skyrim didn't make any of those issues any better, right? The game got saved by the modders. Same for Oblivion. And then Fallout started the whole housing bullshit, right? It like Fallout 4 felt more like you're micromanaging like a city or something like that instead of living in a wasteland.
Yeah, and if you want to micromanage a city in a wasteland, you know, after a you know massive calamitous event, just play fucking Frostpunk. You'll get you'll probably
or the
it'll
Sims.
or the Sims.
If you want to like build houses and shit.
Yeah.
See, like Maxis, that's a free idea for you. The Sims, Fallout DLC.
Oh God.
The Sims post-apocalypse.
If you're unaware, like The Sims has like 100 DLCs or some shit like that.
And that's for every version of The Sims, right? Like
Yeah.
the Sims 3 had 40, 45 different like actual DLCs, and then a bunch of extra clothing packs and all the rest of it. And then didn't they release a Sims 4, or was it a Sims with a name rather than a number? And that got a bunch of expansion. Like every single time there's a Sims game.
I thought we were
They
only
are
at Sims
on
4.
the
Is there
DLC.
more?
I don't know. It's been ages. It's been years
I
since
know.
I played a Sims game. But yeah, I think possibly what we're getting at here in this conversation is like basically you don't really want to be playing games from the major studios all that much anymore. You want it to be from the kind of smaller studios who care about what they're putting out rather than just trying to make money from it.
You know the funny thing is, like, it is.
Are they really still the smaller studios? Like FromSoft has like what?
I mean,
800 people working.
Not FromSoft anymore.
Larian, for example, has
Well,
like
they're
over
definitely
400 now.
growing. They're growing quite considerably for sure, but like they're not like Activision size. Like, I'm not saying like, Activision is good, but just Activision is huge, right? Like,
Activision doesn't develop any games.
Well, I
They are
mean,
just
but you know what I mean. Like, they're a publisher, but like they own a degree, a whole bunch of studios as such, and in kind of a sense, they're like the umbrella company over all those various different things. But like, eventually, so there's like a cyclic nature when it comes to sort of game company, like game manufacturers and game publishers. And it's very much, I've seen this kind of like people aggravated by this with regards to there was a game sort of franchise that I really enjoyed, but now it's been bought by a big publisher and now it's going to shit, right? And so they're going, you can feel really sort of despondent about the fact that the games that you like, the games that you enjoy are now shit. And so where are you to go? Where are you to go and get enjoyment and that kind of thing? It's very much like a cyclic nature. Like this sort of stuff is very much cyclic in nature. Like, you'll get big publishers buying out, successful franchises, right? They will turn that franchise to shit, most likely, right? There will be those few exceptions that that prove the rule, as it were, right? But eventually, the people who like that particular franchise will leave, and their money will leave, and they'll find a new independent studio that is making a decent game that may not have the money or the resources to really make that first game everything that they wish it to be. But the second game will be like way better as well, because they'll have a little bit more experience, they'll have more money from people coming in and finding the game via word of mouth and that kind of stuff. But eventually, and this is the cyclic nature of it, that becomes a big success, and then eventually that ends up getting bought by a publisher, and then that publisher kind of like strips out and sort of basically tries to sort of make a shitload of money out of it by and reduce the amount of costs associated with like making games from that particular franchise. And you get that cyclic nature again, like people going, oh, I wish this franchise was as good as it used to be. And so they leave and they find a new franchise, a new game from an independent developer, and so the cycle continues. So
I wouldn't really call it a cycle, because like companies like EA have always been shitty.
I'm not saying that EA, like, those companies disappear. I'm just saying that, like, the franchises that particular, like, that particular company
but they
purchases,
do disappear. Like,
has EA when did EA disappear?
Yeah, EA didn't disappear, but there are so many that have disappeared.
I mean, Blizzard, like, yeah, maybe Sierra Studios, for example.
Sierra, for example, yeah.
But were they a publisher or were they a developer?
Or look at Konami. Konami is basically like gone.
Well, but they were more developers than publishers, right? So those development houses kind of disappear, but like the talent in them disappear and move on and move to new projects on new studios and stuff like that. So
yeah, but the same thing is happening to Blizzard right now, right?
Yeah.
There are actually reports from people that used to work at Blizzard saying they are bleeding talent left and right, and they don't have the right people anymore to develop their games.
Yeah, and that's because their games are basically becoming a shadow of what they used to be. And not only are the fans of those particular games going to finding new IPs that are delivering what they want in a game, but the talent that creates those games are also finding that, the particular style of work, the particular style of management that they're having to deal with, it is really sucks, and they can get a better work experience, and a better just general enjoyment in their profession by going somewhere else.
Yeah, it's also that let's remember that there have been a lot of scandals about Blizzard, and in
That's true,
particular
yeah.
how women are being treated.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's not surprising that those people then leave the company, right?
No, yeah, that's kind of like a separate issue. But yeah, if you are having scandals like that, then expect that you're going to have people leaving because you can't deal with your own shit, in a proper professional and moral way. If you can't handle your shit, professionally and responsibly, then yeah, you will see your talent leave. Simple as that.
Did Eric fall asleep to Switch chat?
No. There's. I was looking for something and I found it. Right. It's not Eve related, so let me know when I can chime that in.
Oh, we're not even talking Eve, so
good. Well, no, you haven't, but yeah, you were talking different development groups. So this is something that I saw yesterday in the news, right? And I had to search a little bit here to find it, right? So we have a couple areas around us where they have summer concerts, and the county area sponsors it and everything. So This is literally what is written by CBS News. All right.
Mm-hmm.
The summer concert series will close with the 23rd annual Allegheny County Music Festival. Okay. What kind of music festival did I just say? Anybody? Bueller?
A music festival.
What kind of music, though?
A county music festival?
Country music festival. So country music, okay. Y'all. Dolly Parton.
I thought you said county.
No, the county is sponsoring the country music. Okay. So the summer concert will so we have a country music festival. And it's going to have an 80s theme. It's going to have Men Without Hats. Country music. I don't know. Crazy shit. It's not country. I'm thinking it's a typo in the article. That's all. That's all I had. I was just looking that up. I wasn't sleeping.
Okay.
I was listening. I didn't have anything on.
Do you think there was a typo in the article about your country music festival?
Yeah, I think they meant the county music festival. Not the 80s theme.
Entirely
not
possible.
An 80s themed country music festival. Yeehaw. Actually, I did have grandparents who, when I spent a lot of time with my grandparents, right? Because for that kind of family. They did make us watch Hee Haw every night. Have you guys ever seen Hee Haw? At all? Reruns? Anyone? Bueller?
No.
I wouldn't expect that you guys would have. It was kind of a weekly or nightly or daily, whatever. I don't even know what it was. A little variety show based on country music. And my grandmother from Kentucky would make us watch it every night, along with Lawrence Welk. So we had our whatever Lawrence Welk plays music, followed by Hee Haw. That was my childhood. No, and people wonder why I'm scarred for life. Right? So hesitate.
I was going to say I feel for you, but then again, I don't know what the social norms in that
the only thing
in that time in that place was. So
as a 12-year-old child, the only redeeming Lawrence Welk was terrible. Okay, it was horrible. The Donnie and Marie show, that was okay because she had Marie. She was kind of cute for a 12-year-old boy. And Hee Haw, they always had the jokes in the cornfield, and the girls were always pretty. But that was about all you had. That was it. It was the most boring evenings at my grandparents'. The only good news was guaranteed you're waking up to pizza that was brought home at midnight or 2 a.m. actually, 2 or 3 a.m. Pizza that was brought in. Yeah, Marie is still amazing, Starscream. She is. I met Donnie. Didn't meet Marie. Didn't have luck to meet Marie, but I got to meet Donnie. But you'd have pizza, and my grandfather would bring back bags of candy for all the grandchildren. I mean, when people stayed over at Grandma and Grandpa's, it was like all the cousins. Like everybody. 5, 6 kids. It was nuts. But, you know, you'd have everything that you wanted. Because, you know, they were a German and Italian household, and when it's that, there is no child who is fat enough for that household. Because if you are at all thin, your parents aren't feeding you. Erik was very thin back in those days.
What, were they not feeding you or something?
No, I ate like a freaking horse. I ate so much. I was a runner. I was a runner and a soccer player.
Ah, right. Okay.
So
That
in
makes
the
sense.
U.S., and I was a midfielder, right? So I did a lot of running.
Mhm.
And in the U.S. at that time, I mean, you had spring soccer, fall soccer, and winter indoor soccer, right? So indoor soccer, played basically in a hockey rink with AstroTurf, was something that we did all the time. I mean, and then of course, you know, cross country track and all that stuff added on top of that was, you know, you could eat as much as you want. Literally, we had a salad bar at the high school. So you have a little plate about as big as 2 of your hands, and picture that plate like a foot tall with salad and, you know, macaroni salad and everything under the sun. You couldn't eat enough. So yeah, used to be able to eat a ton, so much. Imagine eating a salad and then going to run 9 miles, right? 3-mile warm up, 3-mile race, 3-mile cool down.
Pasta salad would work.
All kinds
Yeah,
of
sounds
salads.
like
everything.
That's
Everything.
Yeah.
right?
Everything. You know, the worst things for your stomach. The worst thing I did find out, though, the only time I had a really bad practice, I actually had to stop running, was one morning track practice. I think I was a freshman. You know, I was in a hurry to get over to practice, and I ate a bagel. I said, man, I never get cramps. I have a cramp. Coach says, you know, what'd you eat? I said, I had a bagel. She says, oh, don't eat bagels before practice. They'll sit in your stomach like a rock. Eat Sicilian pie from Brooklyn, then go play soccer.
Jesus.
I mean, lots of fat
No,
in a bagel,
thank
right?
you. No, thank you. Let's go for the carbs. But, you know, bagel with peanut butter or whatever the hell I ate on it. Yeah. Jumped in
Oh,
the
so
car.
you added more fat to the fat.
Yeah. Well,
Great
you want,
idea.
You want the carbs and all that stuff when you're a runner. I mean, my wife is she's in her. You go up to a peak and then you go down before you run a like a marathon. She's running half a marathon. So, you know, today was a 9-mile day, so she's backing down from her 11 or 12-mile runs, right? So, yeah, oh yeah, tons of carbs. Carbs when you're a runner. Gotta love them. So that's your fun athletic facts for the day here at the Push to Talk athletic section of the
Didn't
thing.
expect that, did you guys?
I was
used to
going
be
to
the
say
runner.
that those cross country runs sound a lot like what we were doing when I was in school. In the spring is when we would do that, and we'd also be on rugby at school, and then you get into the summer and you get the cross country, and then kind of some bits of football thrown in there, but mostly we were a rugby school.
Yeah,
And then
a lot of sports like I don't know. There are sports that the same equivalent in boys and girls. They'll run like spring for the girls, fall for the boys, and it's weird how they do some things. But like cross country, swimming, tennis, things like that, they run boys and girls at the same time. So yeah, we would run from the school to the cross country course, which was about 3 miles. You'd run a 5K basically, right? You'd run a 5K in high school. It's a 10K in college for cross country. But yeah, I did not do it in college. My knees didn't make it that long. So
nor did mine. But yeah, we basically because where I went to secondary school was kind of out in the country.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't necessarily have a cross country course. We just went running through like the public footpaths and stuff that went all through the fields and everything. And sometimes,
I was gonna say, yeah, like rando field, like country sort of walks and shit.
Yeah, basically, you just kind of be told, okay, this is your route. It goes on a big circle, and you've got like an hour and 20 minutes to run it. Go have fun.
An hour and 20 minutes. How long was it?
Sizable route.
Yeah, like I mean, you've got to think some people weren't runners in school, so the routes were like I think we did like 4 miles overall. And if you got back
20 minutes to 4 miles.
If you got back early enough, they'd send you round again.
Oh yeah, that's insane.
If you got back, they were basically like, "Well, you clearly haven't spent enough time outside the school grounds in a situation where you could get abducted. Yeah. So, round again."
Yeah,
I mean, they'd have a couple of teachers at key points, but yeah, it was basically like, "Here's your route." And yeah, if you got back fast enough, they would send you round again.
Wow.
And yeah, because some people really just weren't runners. Some people were heavy. They played like defensive stuff in rugby, and they didn't really do too much of the long distance running. So short enough course that they could do it, and the fast ones would just do it twice, and then yeah, it was always one of those things where if you didn't think you were gonna, if you thought you were gonna like do it in say 45, 50, you would actually slow down a little bit. So you did it in an hour and had 20 minutes for your shower afterwards, rather than having to have like a 5-minute shower and then back.
It's like
to school.
15 minutes an hour. You can walk that.
I know, but some people like.
I mean, you have to walk that to get 15 minutes. I mean, think about this, right? So that's 3K or a 5K, which is 3.2 miles, right? Approximately. That was a cross country course in high school, right? I mean, girls would do that. Top girls would do that near the 20s or early 20 minutes, right? Yeah. Boys would finish the 3.2K. Like, I think my best time, I'm trying to remember, was somewhere around, 16:20. Maybe a little lower. I'm trying to think. I have to go actually look at. I actually have some documents on it. I can actually find. But yeah, I mean, and by the way, this is with hills. I mean, it's not a flat course, right? And by the way, our course was you went around a field, you went into the forest on a tractor trail for the farm, right? Then you came out of the forest and you ran between the 2 cornfields on the tractor path, right? Then back into the forest and then back around the big open giant field, but all of it was hill, right? A lot of up and down. I think J.R. fastest runner, maybe he was 16:14 or something. But we would go to states and things. We were a fast team. A lot of five boys in cross country count for points, right? So if your team is first, the next team has their first runner is in second. You have 1 point, they have 2, and it's lowest points wins, right? And your top 5 varsity runners count, and you're allowed to have 7 varsity runners a team, right? That's that was. But yeah, I mean, I remember in the summer. I mean, we ran all summer, and we would go away to 3-a-day camp. Football brothers, like, we have 2-a-days. I'm like, we're cross country. We have 3-a-days, motherfucker. Okay, I mean, Your short day was 3 miles, 5 miles, 3 miles before breakfast, lunch, and dinner, right? Your long days that you alternated for 2 weeks, by the way, were 5 miles, 10 miles, 5 miles, right? So, on that 10-mile run at noon, you're sitting there going, please rain on me. Please rain. By the way, it did once. It was the greatest rain ever. But yeah, I mean, 3.2 miles cross country for the school. Yeah. Yep. Race meets. But our course, we would suit up at the high school. We would run 3 miles, then run the race, then run 3 miles home.
Yeah, like we didn't have this kind of competitive stuff. It was just like the teachers would just tell us, this is your course, and your course would like cross roads and be down footpaths and like through fields and shit, and then you'd come in a big loop. And like I say, it was I think we were 4.5 miles, something like that, depending upon which course they picked for which day.
Yeah.
But it was like, all right, you have like an hour and 20 minutes was a double period at our school. Yeah. And so you would have that time to get changed, do your course run, potentially do your second course run, get changed back and have a shower at the end of it. And kind of, like, this was 120 kids at once, all running this course. So if you got caught at the back, you were in the mud all the way along.
Oh wow. Yeah, that would be. Yeah, we did have a course. I forget whose course it was. I was warned about it. My first year by the other guys. It was their second year, and they said, we're going to come to this hill on the course. We're wearing 1/2-inch spikes today because of this hill. Okay. And the hill was so vertical that you were literally holding on to the roots that had become exposed from the trees to pull yourself up the hill. And by the way, you hit the hill twice. Okay. I'm sitting there going, who designs a cross-country course like this? Who's the idiot? This isn't running. This is mountain climbing. I mean, what the hell? But yeah. I think they redid that course the next year, but the first year, wow. 3.2 miles, yeah. So the man cheetah's out there. Yeah, we had 7-man varsity teams. They put the heavy recruiting on me my freshman year of track to join the cross country team and quit the high school soccer team, which I did because they said, if you join, Eric, we'll go to states. So, I mean, shit, what do you do? Yeah, I want to run at Lehigh or Happy or Hershey Valley as an alternated, but yeah. Yep, placements got you points, right? Your placement was your point. And the team with the lowest points wins. Simple as that. And by the way, and so I was talking to a friend of mine from high school. Him and his wife live here, and our daughters are friends. And his daughter runs cross country in the middle school. Of course, she's trying to talk my daughter into it. She's like, I don't run. None of my children run. And we were, and of course, I'm talking to this girl. She's about 13, right? And I'm sitting there going, I said, yeah, isn't it awesome when you have the big starts at the big races where you have like 15, 20 teams? You get to the end of the race and you look down at your shoe and it's all bloody and you didn't know it because you got spiked by someone else through your shoe, right? At the big start. She's like, yeah, that's awesome. She goes, first time that happened, I had blood all over my shoe. I'm like, what the heck happened? And I figured out I got a spike hole in my shoe, right?
But
all
adrenaline and everything like that, like you don't see it. Like you don't
feel it. You don't. Yeah. I mean, you feel that your foot got stepped on, but you don't feel.
Yeah, you don't feel like something worse than just like somebody stepped on your foot.
I guess it's because usually everybody just gets kind of glanced on the side of their toe rather than actually through the toe. But really, you are using 1/2-inch spikes, and not like football or baseball or soccer spikes, right? No, those are cleats. These are actual spikes. So picture like half-inch nails coming out of your shoes, right? Yeah, that's track and cross-country stripes, right?
Running shoes are very different from, your football, your rugby studs, or even like there was a period for a while where in like football at least, everyone was using what we call blades, which were like angled plastic studs. And they weren't actually that sharp, but if you slid into somebody on a tackle, you could like rip them open pretty good. But yeah, even those are nowhere close to like runners' spikes.
Yeah. I think the only sport in the U.S. you could use those blades, and they're about half an inch by quarter inch, right? Metal on the bottom, kind of a thin little blade. Yeah,
they were kind of like plasticky with a metal core over here, but like that sort of thing.
America, we just have metal. Fuck you, get out of the way. Okay. This baseball is the only sport I think worth those. There was a while in the very beginning, some of us did wear the regular round cleats in soccer cleats, replaceable aluminum ones, but they stopped that.
Studs, But the thing about studs was that you would always have to have spares because like one would come loose during a match and you'd end a match and you'd be like, holy shit, where did like 2 of my studs go? On the bottom of your boot.
Yeah.
And so you'd have to have like a bag of replacements lying around so that you could screw another one in.
in like the Sam Snead era, this is like the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, probably 60s too. Your golf spikes were little metal nubs, but they weren't sharp on the bottom of your shoes. And a little history, right? Oakmont Country Club will not replace any of the seats or the flooring in the bar or in the locker rooms. Okay, because they all have these they're hardwood. So picture little metal nodules. What are they going to do to hardwood, right? They're going to indent it like crazy, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay, they will not replace it because some of those somewhere, like the Sam Sneads, the Arnold Palmers, and all those people, it's their spike mark. So they don't know which ones are theirs, but some of them are theirs, so they won't replace them.
Wow.
It's that bit of like history from way back when. I can see that.
Now now you've gone to the ones they have they're like just like little plastic little things on the bottom of the shoes. And actually I have a pair in here that you can't differentiate. You can't wear them when it's wet out, but you can't differentiate them from a pair of canvas tennis shoes. And the bottom is just, rubber nodules, right? It's supposed to be better for the green, better for everything. I don't know. I never thought that any shoe that you wore for golf was really that great. Really gave you some advantage. Other than being waterproof. That's always good.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
What else we got to talk about other than, golf shoes?
We got things to talk about?
We do. Golf shoes. I have about 6 pair. No, I have about 4 pair. My boys have cool ones. My one boy in particular, his golf shoes are completely white. And when he walks, the bottom is clear plastic with the American flag on the bottom. He loves them. I love them too. I have a pair just like it. Let's see. Let's see. So, I did get the new Samsung S23 Ultra because I got a really good price on it. Those are insane. But I'm going to tell you, folks, I had the S20. I really like the S20 Ultra. It's really, really, really a nice phone. Uncle Larry bought it for me.
I don't know. I can't.
You have a flip
really
phone?
spend more
than
than 100.
I have an amazing phone, and Dirk will attest to this. Because it actually
that was a fun moment.
Well, I actually did the eSIM. So this is a company phone.
Oh,
right?
cool. Yeah.
So I eSIM'd my personal number onto the phone, which is really cool. It's a little bit confusing. The only thing I don't like is when you send texts and things, you got to pick which one all texts go out on, right?
You should be able to set up. You should be able to set up specific contacts to go from specific numbers.
Yeah, I will actually look at that. Let's see if that applies to the texts.
I know I have it set up because don't ask me why, but I still have like a SIM only contract and then the contract for my S22 Ultra that I got recently, and I have it set up so that like my personal contacts that have had my number for ages, that number is on the SIM only deal at the minute. So like I have that set up so everybody who's had my number for ages gets sent texts or calls from that number, and anybody who's not in my contacts list or is like a new contact or whatever will go out on the other one automatically. But like it does give me pop-ups for some contacts if I want to send it from a different thing. But yeah, the multi-sim on the Ultras is actually
I'm wondering
really nice.
if texts work the same way. I thought it was whatever your primary SIM was what it used for your texts in your network. Maybe not. I'm going to have to do a little more research.
If you pull down from the top to get to your not your notifications, but like the widgets tray and stuff.
Yeah.
There should be a little bar, depending on which version of the OS you're on, but there should be a little bar in there that has like calls, messages, mobile data. They're kind of you can kind of pick which SIM, or at least I can on this one. I don't know if the S20 is behind on some sort of feature or whatever.
No, this is the latest Samsung phone. This is the S23.
Ah, right. Well, yeah, you should be seeing that then.
What should I see? I don't...
Pull down from the top twice, and it opens like the widgets tray.
Yep, and I have like device control, media output, SIM1, eSIM1.
Yeah.
And then I have all the, my Wi-Fi, mute, Bluetooth, and all that.
Yeah, so that bit where you've got SIM1 and eSIM1, what I see is like a bar with calls, messages, mobile data as options, and I can just like select from there and it like select which one is the automatic SIM for each part of that. So like my messages can go out on SIM1, my like network data can go out on SIM2.
Oh yeah. Well, so basically I think with Samsung you pick whatever your primary is your data and your messages. You can't just pick, I don't think. At least that's what I've got so far. Well, I'll do more research.
Well, I can, so I don't know if it's a setting somewhere that you need to change or whatever, but yeah.
Do you have an Android phone?
Yeah, I'm on a S22 Ultra.
Okay. I would think they would be similar.
This is what I'm saying. I would imagine that the OS would be pretty similar, if not exactly the same at the minute.
Yeah.
Because, yeah. I only picked this up, 4 or 5 months ago, and
the
S23 is only like 2 months old.
Yeah, it's not.
So I wouldn't imagine that they differentiate in the software like significantly just yet.
Yeah, I can go into my SIM manager.
But yeah, I'm
just going to play SIM1. So if I select SIM1, it says SIM1 will be used for mobile data as the default number for calling and messaging. Some data services from eSIM1 will be limited.
Interesting. I don't know if you're getting it differently because you're on an eSIM.
Yeah.
Because mine are both hardware SIMs.
Ah. I can have 2 hardware SIMs if I want.
Yeah. Yeah, I've still not kind of got my head around eSIMs and how that actually works in terms of transferring numbers around and things like that.
Yeah, I would like to be able to go in, like you said, into my contacts, right? And select a person and say, I can select for calling them. I can't. I don't think I can select for texting them. But again, I'll have to play with it, right? So yeah, I don't know. So if I go to this individual and I say, look at them, it says use default, SIM1 or eSIM. You select a SIM to use for new calls and text conversations with this person. Old conversations will continue using the SIM they started with. So yeah, it does pick both of them. That's good. That's what I wanted to do, right?
There we go.
I got an Eve related question here.
Uh-oh.
My
yeah.
God,
Uh-oh.
really?
Hold it, can we have a
30
vote?
minutes to go.
Can we have a
On
vote?
this show?
Yeah, so
We're-
someone's having a weird issue. You know, in the launcher, you have the settings button in the top right.
Mm-hmm.
Is this old launcher or new launcher?
The old launcher.
Ah, cool. We might be able to help then.
So when you say somebody, do you mean
yes,
you?
it's not me. No,
Oh, okay.
I still have the button. This
A
person
friend of
doesn't.
mine.
Oh, that's weird.
What button are they looking for?
The settings button in the launcher.
You mean the cogwheel up on the right hand side?
Yes, the cogwheel. You know, the one where you have to go in to get to the server list if you want to go on the them.
Have we tried turning it off and on again?
Yeah.
I mean, somebody has to ask it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about other people, but if you don't restart your computer very often, you might want to like go into your task manager and completely kill the launcher and start it again. Rather than just hitting the cross in the top right and then doing it, like completely kill the process and then start. But other than that, you might have to reinstall the old launcher. I don't know. That one's a weird one.
Yeah, it's definitely weird. Thinking it might be like a Mac issue.
Oh god. Okay. I have no experience with Eve on Macs, and so I'm sorry I can no longer help.
Have you tried the Genius bar?
No, GPT-4. Let's actually we could let's check that out.
Can you no longer start the game manually without the launcher?
What, going to the executable?
Yeah.
That's a very good question.
Hold it. What question are we asking here? What's the challenge again? Bring it up for me.
Can you still start the Eve client with the executable? Or does it have to go through the launcher nowadays?
No, if you start the executable, it opens the launcher.
Of course it does.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, CCP.
But yeah, no, Mac, I do still like laugh a little bit at the irony of your phone and so for context here, Mac and I went to a comedy show a couple months ago, and it's a great comedy show, really fantastic. But the tickets were on an app on my phone.
There's an Android phone, by the way.
And yeah, I'm on the S22 Ultra. I think we've mentioned that already. But like, yeah, so it's a pretty huge phone.
We're not sponsored by iPhone, obviously.
It was like a small tablet, basically.
It is a small tablet, yes, and it comes with a stylus as well because the stylus is surprisingly useful. I do like it.
Anyway. Me too. Okay, can't believe it.
Getting to the point here. The app on my phone would not take a paste of the password that it needed from my password manager.
Interesting.
It just decided, like, no, you can't paste anything into the password slot. You have to enter it.
Oh yeah, 40-digit password.
My passwords are all like, I think I've got them set to 14-digit alphanumeric with specials and all the rest of it because I have a password manager and I don't need to remember these things.
Yeah.
So I'm in there trying to remember this 14-digit long password or 14-character long password. I just cannot get more than like 7 characters in before I'm going, what was the next one again? So I borrow Mac's phone, which is like this. What is it, like an iPhone 7 or an iPhone 8?
It's like it's a iPhone 7 SE or something like that. Like yeah.
So
like second edition, like it's one of the new LEs, right? Like
I'm typing this password into a notepad on Mac's tiny phone with my like giant Samsung in the other hand.
it's the size difference was ridiculous, and like I imagine that's how you were feeling to some degree.
It's just like, what am I doing with my life when this is the solution?
That was kind of ridiculous.
Because I mean, like the S22 Ultra is about like nearly twice the size of your little iPhone.
It was. It was ludicrous.
It is potentially a little bit too big, but it is quite nice.
You do have a decent amount of screen real estate in that regard, so yeah, especially
the screen
for
real estate is nice,
especially for a touch, a keypad as such, right? Yeah, touch keyboard.
Yeah,
mine is fucking terrible in that regard.
By the way, when I bought the little plastic screen that you put on top of your phone, right?
Mm-hmm.
The thing that I bought actually had a plastic thing that fit into the USB-C and had an extension of the plastic that went on the phone that hooked over that little plastic thing to keep it exactly perfect on the screen when you put it on.
Oh, no, that's cool.
That was, I'm like, oh, I'm going to buy this again if I ever have to put another one of these on this.
Yeah.
Wait, do you mean the case?
So
no, it means a screen protector.
So let's see. So here's the phone, right? Here's the case. It's the plastic case on the outside. But the little thin film that you put on this side, in the USB-C, they had a thing that hooks in here. And then there's 3 little posts, basically, that stuck out on that plastic thing. And it made the plastic lay over the top perfectly. There was no positioning it right or left or making sure you got it on. Nope. Boom. Right on.
I switched from plastic to silicon because it's much nicer.
Unlike this part, this is silicone right here. It's really now these like these right here. Okay, these have like a glue, and these are actual harder covers over the lens. There's a little thing, boom, and then if I ever want to take them off, you just have a little plastic thing. They just pop right off. So because on this particular phone, those really hang down a lot because the phone is so thin.
I have a pretty chunky case on mine that kind of covers it's deeper, the case, than the actual camera lenses. So I'm not too worried about needing a protector on the back.
This is a little bit. I'm just anal retentive. Even with the covers on them, it is still deeper. But yeah.
We should start with our last things because
Oh yeah, let's do one last thing.
Oh yeah.
We are getting to that time.
All right. Well, hey, let's go around the horn. Let's start with Dirk.
I don't know what I've got this week. Actually, yes, I do. We are officially a week away from Eve's 20th birthday. Eve Online's 20th birthday after release in 2003 is this next Saturday. So apparently, according to the wonderful crypto bro Hilmar, there are announcements and things coming soon, and we should be expecting cool stuff this week.
Cool stuff this week.
Quiet.
Whether or not we're actually going to see that is a different matter, but he has been tweeting that, yes, there will be various announcements and activities coming in an epic 20-year birthday celebration with live streams.
Wow.
So they are selling NFTs again.
I was just kind of thinking. If they get hijacked with a cookie attack, would we even know the difference?
No. It might actually get better.
No.
It may actually get better.
So yeah.
Oh.
So yeah, that's coming up this week. I'm assuming there will be stuff during the week as well as next weekend. So yeah, keep an eye out for that if you are still playing and watching EVE Online space.
Yeah, and along with that, right? Every subbed account by May 6th or on the week of May 6th, right? You get, I don't know, I guess they're putting in an addendum to the dilapidated monument in the harbor, right? They're adding names.
Ah, yes.
So remember that. So if you want certain names or anything, make sure you sub it.
The reservists are being added to the monument.
Yeah, I think they need to fix up the ones that are there. I think it's a little beat up, as I recall.
They're replacing the entire thing apparently.
Oh, the whole monument, or just the names?
Like that. Well, the names and adding another thing next to it or something. Like apparently it's a whole deal.
Ooh.
Who knows? But apparently it's a whole big deal.
So yeah, so you have that. All right, Mac.
Oh, so in thinking of that, the update to the monument and all that kind of jazz, I hope that it didn't pass CCP developers by in realizing that they might need to actually update the in-game version of the monument that is sitting on top of Jitter 4.4.
There you go. Very good.
Because there is one. If you guys didn't realize this, there is a small, tiny little version of it.
It's tiny little version of it
on the top of Jitter 4.4.
By the way, John, what's his name? Right, that's that actor, right? That's hilarious. The dude that jumps out of the trunk in what is it? That Vegas movie. What is it called? With all the guys that go before his wedding. I don't know. He's actually a doctor that turned an actor.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah, you're talking about Hangover, right?
Yeah, The Hangover.
Yeah,
you got it.
Great.
Yeah, so McLeod posted in our staff chat, right? He's got a little tiny piece of paper when he's talking about little tiny monument, right?
Well, that works with that. I initially put it in there, relating to my phone, and Dirk potentially trying to use my tiny phone compared to his massive mini tablet. But yeah,
mini tablet.
Hopefully CCP devs realize that there is a tiny version of the monument in Jitter, and they might need to update that if they are updating the actual monument. Right?
Tiny version. It's out there in space. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Soth.
Well,
by the way, your camera has been fabulous the whole show.
It hasn't dropped out. Like my god.
Because I didn't get out of the shot, so it kept focusing on me.
By the way,
your internet's been fine.
Over to his
my
left.
internet has also been fine. Yes. I think it's weather related actually.
Fine German
that's
engineering.
weird.
fine
it's
German engineering.
It's been getting warmer, so I'm having less disconnects now. It's weird as fuck.
It is okay, but you're less interesting.
Your internet is works better when it's not when you don't have a sharp frost.
Yeah, I guess. My last thing is since we talked about FromSoft, if you guys like mecha games, I know there haven't really been any in the last decade or two. They are releasing Armored Core 6, and even I'm excited, even though I don't play mecha games usually. Yeah, they put up an in-game trailer a few days ago, so if you like that kind of game, then check that out.
Okay. I'm trying to find out, where my feed went. There it is. It's there. All right. So for my one last thing, I really, really, really don't have anything prepared.
I mean, do you think that we had anything prepared? Like,
No,
it was all in the moment.
No, all in the moment. I want to thank everybody for the follows, for the subs, and for everybody out there in the audience who has tolerated us all today. It's a little bit of a hazy day here in the Berg, and you know what? I think I'm going to go out. My one last thing is, I think I'm going to convince the family to go out to dinner at Permani so we can have some Permani sandwiches. Permani. We're going to have some Permani. All right. By the way, the last comedy thing I watched on TV was the Blue Collar Comedy Tour, and if you haven't seen that, just go watch it, or just watch Run Right because he's fucking hilarious. So anyway,
before we go, an update on the launcher thing. It was indeed someone playing on a Mac.
I did go to ChatGPT.
Have they tried the Genius bar yet?
No, they found the button.
Okay.
Apparently, it's in the bottom left instead of the top right because
of course
it just works, right?
I will say I did delete it, but ChatGPT did mention something very special about where the launcher button was in the macOS version of the launcher. So ChatGPT 4.0 4 is smart enough. And by the way, so I don't know how many of you guys are friends with the Space Pope on Facebook. Because I'm old, I'm on Facebook, so Space Pope. He mentioned that GDP 3.5 does not know who the Space Pope is. ChatGPT 4 has an in-depth knowledge of who the Space Pope is. And he posted it. It's very funny. Very funny. All right, folks. It is the end of our show here, Saturday. Do we have Meta Show today? Meta Show? Anyone? Bueller?
I believe so.
All right, we're going to assume there is a Meta Show in 55 minutes. Be there or be square. I really wish Brisk would give us some talking points, right? So we could hype the show, because we're like the only show on INN that has a show shortly after it, right? And we could do all kind of hype train bullshit for them, but they just I don't get anything. And we don't get any copy. We don't get any OnlyFans images, shower pics of Brisk anymore. It's very sad. By the way, for those who just heard that, they were clean shower pics. I mean, I even think he wore one of those little hair things covers. But anyway, so yeah. So
if you guys thought that we were about to say that he always wore a suit in the shower, no.
He did once.
Always.
Sometimes. He did once, but
he did wear a suit in the shower once.
That was for his second. Was it his second? Tour. What was it the second kind of campaign that he did?
Second campaign for
yeah.
Whatever that Space Council bullshit is.
I
could never be on that
campaign.
I mean, I used the word tour, like he was going into a fucking war zone,
which is
pretty much. I think it's probably a bit apt, to be fair.
Probably the same thing, right?
Yeah,
probably the same thing.
Yeah.
All right. So, any of us going to Iceland?
A war zone?
Big shindig? Okay. Anybody planning on going?
Fantastic, though.
Nah, not really.
You know,
I already have another meetup planned around that time. So
I think I do too. I think it's one of my golf tournaments. So
When is it meant to be? Like, out of interest?
Sunfest, it's like middle of September.
Oh, right. Okay. So
yeah, like everything has moved to the middle of September now.
But yeah, I am gonna dip, so I will see you guys.
You
in a bit.
dip. You dip out. I'm
Mhm.
dipping out. We're all dipping out. Everybody's dipping out. I got things to do. I got to go pick up the daughter. So you guys have a wonderful weekend. Catch Meta Show later today. And, you know, there's still Sunday, folks. So, you know, where you can sleep and snore and, you know. So drink lots tonight so you can sleep in tomorrow. That's about it. We are out of here. Everybody say bye.